Hey guys, here's another little extra video for lesson 4. Again, there are some problems in your work that are a little bit more in-depth than that of the regulars. So instead of making a full new video for you, I'm just adding this extra little video at the end. So the first type of problem I'm going to talk to you about is a perimeter problem. It's a word problem. I'm not going to write down the whole word problem for you, but I'll just give you the gist of what it says. So basically it says there's a rectangular lot. You're given that the perimeter is 230 yards, okay? And then it says that the length is 5 less than twice the width. And so it asks you to figure out the length and the width. There are some different ways you could do this. I have had some people work through these and just use like logic. But since this is in the section with solving equations, it's really wanting you to create an equation and solve it. So that's what we're going to do. So you need the formula for perimeter. So perimeter is 2 times length plus 2 times the width. I'm using a cursive L there so it doesn't look like a 1. Okay, so 2L plus 2W. Well, you're told that length equals 5 less than twice the width. So that's twice the width minus 5. Remember, if it says less than, you got to flip things around. So 2W minus 5. All right? So now we know what L equals. So we're going to plug this into our perimeter equation or formula along with what we know the perimeter is. So if we have 230 for the perimeter, we know instead of 2L, we can do 2 times the quantity, 2W minus 5. And then we still have plus 2W. So that's a little bit of substitution there. We can do the distributive property. 2 times 2W is 4W. I'm not sure what I was trying to write there, but that's 4W. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10, and then we have plus 2W equals 230. If you combine your like terms, we have 6W minus 10 equals 230. You add 10 to both sides. You have 240 equals 6W. Divide by 6, and you get 40 equals W. So your width is 40. Okay, that's half of your answer. Now you need to find your length. So we're going to go back up here to length. So L equals 2W minus 5. Now we know what W is. W is 40. So L equals 2 times 40 minus 5. That's 80 minus 5, which is 75. So L is 75. Okay, so I can't remember if you have 1 or 2 problems like that, but that's the way you're going to set it up. See what the perimeter is, get the perimeter formula, get the formula for length, plug it in, and solve it. Okay, if you need more help with that, when you get to that problem, just let me know. You can message me, email Google Classroom, or you can contact me through Math Excel, and I'll do my best to assist you. Okay, the next type of problem that you're going to see in your assignment that wasn't included in the other video is one that looks like this. So you have A equals 2/5 times the quantity B minus 36. Now, your first inclination is probably to do the distributive property, but don't do that. That's going to make it more complicated than it has to be. So what we want to do here is get B all by itself. Well, B doesn't have a coefficient, but it is inside the parentheses here. So the first thing we're going to do is get rid of this fraction. Well, we're going to get rid of the fraction by using the inverse property. Yeah, the inverse property of multiplication, which means when you multiply a number by its reciprocal, it goes to 1. Okay, so I'm actually going to bring this down a little bit just so I have some room to work. All right, so I'm going to multiply this side by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal is when we turn a fraction upside down. So if you do earn 2/5 upside down, that's 5/2. Okay, and then we'll do that to this side too. We know that 5/2 times 2/5 divides out to 1. I'll do that over here on the side just to show you. Okay, 2 times 5 is 10, 5 times 2 is 10, 10 divided by 10 is 1. Okay, so these will divide each other out. So we're left with 5/2 A equals B minus 36. Now, it's going to be really easy to get B by itself because this looks just like a one-step equation. You're just going to get that negative 36 over. How do we get a negative 36 over? We add it. So plus 36 and plus 36. Now, this side we have B. On the other side, we can't combine these because they're not alike. This one has an A and this one doesn't. So there's a couple different ways you can write 5/2 A. You can do 5A over 2 or 5/2 A, whatever. I'm going to leave it as 5/2 A and then just plus 36, and that equals B. And I think in Math Excel, it has the equation set up so the variables are in place, and you're just going to plug the numbers in where they go. So basically, all we did was we took the reciprocal of this fraction and put it with the variable, and then we had the opposite of what was in the parentheses. Okay? Okay, the last little thing that we're going to talk about that's getting added to this section for you is set notation. Now, if you had me for Algebra 1 a couple years ago, then you know we talked about set notation and you all hated it. I'm pretty sure you whined and whined for days about it because you hated drawing the little braces and you had to write everything out and it was a mess. So we're going to talk about it briefly just because it shows up in your homework here. Okay, so for set notation, these braces denote a set. Okay, and a set has elements inside. So whatever's inside that set makes up the set. So like we could have a set of the numbers 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, and 3 are each elements of that set. They belong in that group. Okay? So what you're going to see in some of your problems is they're going to be multiple choice, and it's going to ask you to choose the correct set. Okay? So one of your options might be the solution set is this. And it's got a spot for you to just put a number in. That means that you've solved the equation, and say when you solved, you got x equals 3. Then your solution set would be this. Okay, that would be the set of the solutions. There's only one, and it's 3. Okay? The next option, you can have the solution set x such that this that's a such that line. That's just what that means. X such that x is all real numbers. And so that means that your solution is x, and x can be any real number. So that means you could use 1, 2, 3, 100, negative 500, whatever, and it's still going to work. So this solution set would be your answer when you got something like this. 0 equals 0, or 3 equals 3, or x equals x. If you get something like that, we normally call that infinite solutions. Okay, so this means infinite solutions, and that's the set that denotes infinite solutions. Okay, it's just another way to say it. It's just a different type of notation. Okay, so we normally have 3 different solution types. We have a variable equals a number, we have infinite, and then our last option is no solution. So you might see the solution set is this. Okay, or you could also see this, and there's no blank in the middle. There's no box. Okay, 0 is the empty set. There's nothing in it. Okay, so that would be our answer when we get no solution. So if we get no solution, it might be -3 equals 3 or 8 equals 10, something like that. Normally we would say no solution. But in this particular case, you would say the solution set is empty. That means there's nothing in it, nothing works, no solution. Okay, so if you kind of think about that, it makes sense. If you have a solution, a single solution, then there would be one element in the set. Okay, if you have infinite solutions, that means that we could keep going until infinity. Any number that you could possibly think of would work. So we can't list out an infinite number of numbers in the braces. So we have to have something to take the place. So we have this statement, x such that x is all real numbers or is a real number. Now that I think about that, that grammar isn't great, but you get the idea. And then if the solution set is empty or there's nothing in it, there's no elements, it would make sense that there is no solution and that nothing would work no matter what you do. Okay, so you will see these options in some of your problems on Math Excel, but that's okay. Don't let it throw you off. Come back, look at these notes, and let that help you. If you need more help with this when you get to it, feel free to reach out, contact me. I would love to assist you. Okay, have a great day.